It's hard to believe, given how much Sean Bean made the role his own over 16 telly movies, but the titular character in the Sharpe TV movies was to have been played by Paul McGann. Yes, Paul McGann from With Nail and I. Yes, Paul McGann who played Doctor Who briefly on TV, but subsequently in seemingly 1001 audio adventures for Big Finish Productions. And yes, the Paul McGann who would end up finally playing a Napoleonic-era character in the adaptation of a book series, The Steadfast Mr. Bush, in the Horatio Hornblower films with Ioan Gruffudd. And this isn't one of those guess who was to have played X famous character things where anyone who vaguely spoke about a role once, is said to have almost been that character. No, McGann even got to the stage of being on location, in costume, and shooting Sharpe's rifles and Sharpe's Eagle concurrently when, well, let me read a section from a book called From Crimea with Love, which is the memoir of Jason Sulkey, who played one of Sharpe's riflemen on the series, Rifleman Harris. And I quote, "A trip to a beach on the west coast of Crimea was planned. In theory, an ideal excursion, but an event that took place on a day that was to shape and leave an indelible mark on those present that year and set the rules for every successive series. The weather was perfect for the beach as we stopped on the way to buy watermelon and grapes, absolute luxuries that overwhelmed our taste buds after the bland offerings served up at our hotel. Adjacent to the beach, we found a piece of tarmac, a great place for a football match I suggested, and we gathered for an innocent game of footy. No one could have predicted it would be otherwise. Considering myself a bit of an athlete, I proceeded with a pre-match stretching routine, prompting Paul McGann to remark, 'You're getting a bit serious, aren't you?' 15 minutes or so into the match, Paul stretched out his right leg to control a high stray ball. As he made contact, his planted left leg gave way, causing him to crumple to the ground in agony. Helping him to the side of the pitch, I will never forget the ashen look on Paul McGann's face as he sat down contemplating the damaged knee." The memoir goes on to describe McGann actually going on and filming some scenes after the first injury, but the knee was apparently giving out again and again. Notably, this happened one time in a fight scene for Sharpe's Eagle, with future 007 Daniel Craig playing the role of Lieutenant Berry, who, at this point in his career, was just a young, jobbing actor and probably thought the idea of him ever being James Bond one day was an absolutely crazy idea. Not every knee blowout was as spectacular though. Once it went after a simple trek halfway up a mountain. For which story they were filming, I'm not sure, but the bottom line was, sadly, Paul McGann just had to be replaced. Enter Sean Bean. And again, given how much Sean Bean made the Sharpe role his own, I do find it particularly hard to picture McGann doing Sharpe at all. Even if I try and forget everything I know of Bean, just trying to reconcile the short, slight McGann with the way Sharpe is described in the novels is hard. Sharpe is certainly not meant to be the size of his Irish mate Patrick Harper, but he's still a tall man for the era and can brawl effectively with just about anyone. And when I look at the few stills that exist of McGann in costume, I just don't see it in him. I don't see how it could work. I mean, I'd love to see some actual film footage to make a better assessment. Who wouldn't? But none has ever come to light that I'm aware of, so it's stills only, I'm afraid. Anyway, on to Sharpe's Eagle. Made at the same time as Sharpe's rifles, which I looked at last month, Sharpe's Eagle always feels the more enjoyable outing to me. Not only do I think it has a more rollicking story where Sharpe makes a foolish promise to a dying man that he'll capture a French Eagle in his next battle, but I like anything that's got beyond establishing the lead characters and things like that. I like to hit the ground running with a story. Sharpe's rifles is a slight drag in comparison, as everything is still getting established for a good chunk of that story, and that's not the case here in Sharpe's Eagle. As I mentioned, the basic plot of Sharpe's Eagle revolves around Sharpe wanting to capture a French Eagle. This is in response to the regiment he's been attached to with his riflemen, the South Essex, losing its colours to the French in a small skirmish that should never have happened. The skirmish should never have happened due to the incompetence of the South Essex's commanding officer, Sir Henry Simmerson, who becomes a returning character in the Sharpe series. Here, Simmerson commands a detachment of his men to march over a bridge he was about to blow up and engage some French for absolutely no reason. The French attack, steal the South Essex's colours, and it's only Sharpe and his men who stop it from being a complete rout. So the scene is set. Sharpe is determined to capture an eagle when he next faces the French to make up for the loss of his regiment's colours. The Duke of Wellington, still Arthur Wellesley at this time, is determined that Sharpe isn't going to do something so foolhardy and basically suicidal. Aside from his promise to a dying Major Lennox, however, that he would capture the eagle, Sharpe is also being driven by the knowledge that Simmerson has powerful allies in the army back in England and can likely have his new commission taken from him. But if he becomes the man who took an eagle off the French, his name will be made and no one will be taking his commission off him anytime soon. As I said, I like this adventure more than Sharpe's rifles, but having said that, there's even bigger and better stories coming down the pipe when the Sharpe production team reconvene the following year to make another 3 adventures, the first of which we'll be looking at next month. Anyway, over to you. Have you seen Sharpe's Eagle? Have you read the novel? Are you interested in seeing it now after watching this video? Why not let me know below in the comments?